who were falsely flagged as non-citizens by this Save Data tool. Oh, and it's not just voters who should be worried about this bill, it's also election workers. The bill establishes increased criminal penalties for workers who may unintentionally, accidentally register voters without all the required documentation, even if those voters are indeed US citizens. And to be clear, this bill doesn't set these workers up for success. As I mentioned earlier, the language in the bill is incredibly vague when it comes to accepting additional documentation from voters, meaning that election officials could face up to 5 years in prison. 5 years! All for a simple error, a misjudgment, at a time when election workers and officials are leaving their jobs in record numbers following a surge in threats and harassment and doxing. It does seem like the Trump administration really wants to get rid of them, or at least undermine them. Perhaps the worst part of the bill, though, which is supposedly designed to stop non-citizens from voting, is that it's dressed up as a solution to a problem that does not exist. Despite Donald Trump's endless false claims, voter fraud, especially non-citizens voting, is not a thing in America. It isn't. And don't take my word for it. Just take a look at the data from the states that have been using that faulty Save tool to identify non-citizens. Even under that error-prone tool, only 0.04% of cases turn out to be non-citizens. Even the pro-Trump Heritage Foundation, which co-authored Project 2025, has reported that between 2003 and 2023, there were only 24 instances of non-citizens voting in US elections. And if you do the math, considering how many hundreds of millions of people voted during those 2 decades, that number is effectively 0.0% of all votes cast. But then again, in the interests of fairness and balance, I should mention that there was one very serious voter fraud case recently. Very serious. The mayor of Coldwater, Kansas, who turned out to be a green card holder, not a citizen, he somehow managed to vote in all of the last 3 presidential elections, and every time for Donald Trump. Stop the steal.